Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sober School, where you can always find experience, strength, and hope. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic through and through. We want to welcome you to this platform here today, regardless of what your addiction may be. You are absolutely welcome here. We support your pathway to recovery, your pathway. Whichever pathway it is that you choose, well, we are here to help, and we definitely want to make sure that it works for you. If you're watching us through our Recovery Classroom Facebook group page, this is a private group. We want to welcome you, and we definitely want to encourage you to share your own experience, strength, and hope in your own words of wisdom. You never know who needs to hear what it is you might have to say, and it could just change someone's life, including your own. A couple of topics came in from Crosstalk. I was going through them. The guys give me the topics from the Crosstalk meeting, and I'll come home and I'll go through them, and a couple of them really stood out to me. And by the way, if you're unfamiliar with the Crosstalk concept, come down and check out the meeting. It is not like any other meeting you've ever been to, I promise you. It's really cool. It's really insightful. It's engaging, and there's a lot more folks, I think, willing to participate and ask, you present their topics. And so whatever topics don't get covered in that Crosstalk meeting, I do try to cover them here on these videos. As a matter of fact, I got a stack of them here too. One of the topics I want to talk about first is when things in life go bad, what do you do? My sponsor would always tell me, he's like, Drew, you're the only person I know whose life got worse whenever I got sober. We would sit and laugh about it because we'd look, and it's like whenever I was drinking, my life wasn't that bad. But once I got sober, man, that's when all kinds of bad shit started happening. It's one of the, thank God for the sponsor I got. It's one of the things where, him and my grand sponsor, I guess you could call him, they tell me, life there's no guarantee once we get clean and sober, there's no guarantee that life gets easier. It can, and in some cases it will. But what changes is how we respond to these difficulties, how we respond to these challenges, these curveballs that life will throw at us. And rest assured, they will. Life will throw a curveball at you from time to time. Promise you. There's a saying in the rooms that one of the good things about AA is you get your emotions back. One of the bad things about AA is you get your emotions back. Whenever I was drinking, whenever I was in my madness, I didn't want to deal. I didn't want to cope. I didn't know how to cope, and so that was my coping mechanism, to go and drink. So I didn't have to feel emotion. So I didn't have to deal with the situation. When something good would happen, I would use that good thing as an excuse to drink. Let's celebrate. Right? When something bad would happen, I'd use that as an excuse to drink. Let's not have to deal with it. Not even realizing the fact it'd still be there whenever I sobered up. But that's beside the point. I had no coping skills whatsoever. Now today, I'm able to, face these challenges, face these emotions, deal with these emotions because, I've been given a toolbox full of coping skills. I know how to cope with it. I know how to respond. So life doesn't necessarily get easier. It can, and in some cases it will. But it's just our response. It's how we deal with those emotions. That's what gets easier. I can't tell you the number of things that's happened to me since I got sober. And I'm going, oh shit. How am I going to handle this? I know how I'm not going to handle it. I'm not going to run back out to the bottle and start drinking again. That would be contrary to what I'm trying to achieve. When I signed up to get sober, I accepted the responsibility that I'm going to have to deal with good emotions and I'm going to have to deal with bad. That's par for the course. The other day, the topic was, you can't have it both ways. I can't be willing to just deal with the good emotions. I have to accept the bad. The good news is, I'm here to tell you, I'm proof positive, even when the bad shit happens, it's still okay. You'll still be okay, I promise you. So just hang in there when things seem like they're going rough. You may look up and say, God, why are you letting this happen to me? I'll look up and say, God, what are you trying to teach me? Because every time there's been a lesson for me to learn. So one of the other topics that came in, and it's probably one of my favorite topics, is when did you become sick and tired of being sick and tired? Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm still sick and tired of being sick and tired. I remember in June, it was probably about June of 2021, I think it was, when I had just reached that point of absolute misery. I wanted nothing to do with life anymore. I just didn't want to live anymore, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. But nothing changes if nothing changes, right? What am I going to do? I'd already tried everything to control my drinking. I knew at that point that my drinking was the problem, or it was a big part of my problem. I'd already tried everything to control my drinking, and I can't get rid of this drinking thing. So, what am I going to do? I walked back into the rooms of AA, and lo and behold, I got hooked up with people and connected with like-minded individuals who showed me how they solved their drinking problem. So it was probably July of 2021 is when I pulled the trigger and said, okay, I'm going to give this thing a wholehearted effort in trying to quit drinking. And I poured myself into the program, and here we are. But I will say this. Right now, even right now, I'm still sick and tired of being sick and tired. See, the memory of that June 2021, the memory of that early July, first few days of July 2021, that's still up here. I'll give you a great example. Back in September, I participated in my final wrestling match 20 years later, I had to take a few weeks off before that match to stop running. I definitely couldn't run after that match. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks before I was able to run after that match. And anyone who knows me knows I love running. They know I'm a runner. And so since that match, I've struggled running. I've struggled getting back into my routine of running. And I would go and run 5 miles. And lo and behold, the next couple days, my legs were sore, or I pulled a muscle, pulled a hammy, something. And so I'd take 3 or 4 days off to recover. Well, now all of a sudden, I'm only running like 2 days a week as opposed to 6 days a week, right? And so I've struggled with that for the past couple months, since September 9th, easily. And I know this week alone, this last 7 days anyway, I've said, you know what? I remember how bad I felt. I clearly remember how bad I felt whenever I wasn't running, whenever all I did was sit around the house, whenever all I did was come up with excuses. I clearly remember that feeling of being sick and tired. That's a feeling I don't want to go back to. And so I kind of flipped the switch in my mind, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it just like I did 2.5 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago. I'm going to just build back up to it. And so that's what I've done. The last 6-7 days, I've just done nothing but build back up to it. I go in and run 4 miles, the next day I run 2 miles. Go in and run 4.5 miles, next day run 2.5 miles. And I've been slowly building back up to that, allowing my legs time to recover, so I don't have any injury and things like that. My point is, I'm using that moment of being sick and tired. I'm using that. I still remember back of being sick and tired. I still remember that feeling. I'm using that to propel me forward now, even now. And I'm, almost coming up on 2.5 years into my sobriety. I still remember that feeling. And that feeling that you may be feeling right now of being sick and tired, you will want to keep that feeling, because you will want to use it and leverage it as you progress in your sobriety. I promise you, it's a powerful tool to have. Just like yesterday, I was talking about how questions are a powerful tool to have in your toolbox. That feeling of sick and tired that you have right now, that you may have right now, you'll want to hold on to it. Sure, you won't have to deal with it anymore, but you'll want to keep that, because you'll be able to look back and use that as a way to help progress you forward as you move down your road to recovery. So with that being said, I will let you guys go. Again, I want to thank you guys for all the topics that you guys bring in or submitted in the Crosstalk meeting. If you have questions about the Crosstalk meeting, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to answer it. Any one of us that manage the Facebook page, we'll be more than happy to answer whatever we can for you. So I encourage you, it's every Friday night. If you're local to the area, it's every Friday night here in Barboursville. It's at the Pea Ridge United Methodist Church. Begins at 7 o'clock every Friday night. I promise you, it's not like any other meeting you've ever been to. It's not AA, it's not NA, it's not any A. It's a U meeting. You get to decide what topics you want to throw in the basket for us to talk about. So that being said, I'll let you guys go. Hope you guys have a kick-ass start of your week. Kick-ass Monday. Again, I want to thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be more appreciative, and I know my family appreciates it too. So I'll let you guys go. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.